Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. On this video there is quite a few things to negotiate about. I am going to be giving you the latest news regarding Ben Chillwell. Then I'm going to be talking with you a bit more about Sancho. Going to be then giving you some latest news on Chris Smalling. And then a bit later on in the video there's a few other things to delve into. So, the first topic of the development tonight is going to be regarding Ben Chillwell. So, according to recent reports, Manchester United are planning to hijack Chelsea's move for Ben Chillwell. Now, I do believe, Chelsea are emerged as the favourites to sign the player because he's actually, Chelsea's number one priority target. But actually, Chelsea are struggling to finalise a deal with Leicester, because Leicester, have revealed their asking price. They have said that they want around 80 million for Ben Chillwell, and Chelsea feel as though that this is too much. It also mentions that Manchester City are interested in him. But I'd love Ben Chillwell to come to Manchester United. The main explanation is a very, very good left back. And plus Manchester United are in search for a left back. We have got two predominant left backs in our team, and that's obviously Luke Shaw, who's our first choice left back, and obviously we have got Brandon Williams, that's our backup left back. And I think he's done very, very well at Leicester. I think he's enjoyed a good 5 years with Leicester. Made around 99 appearances in the Premier League. And Chillwell has got a contract with Leicester until 2024. I think Ben Chillwell also had a loan spell with Huddersfield Town. But don't forget, we got Harry Maguire from Leicester last summer for £80 million. So we've already done business with Leicester. Chelsea, don't forget, they signed two players from Leicester, before. They got N'Golo Kante and Danny Drinkwater. Man City, they signed Raheem Mahrez, from Leicester back in the summer of 2018. City will probably want to get a left back in because obviously, Benjamin Mendy is always injured for them. But I've got to say regarding Chelsea, they've done very, very good recruitment so far. Obviously, they got Hakim Ziyech back in February for around, was it 37 or 38 million pounds. And obviously, they got Timo Werner not too long ago for around 48 million pounds. So I think Chelsea spent in the 80 odd million pound range on them two players. Don't forget they're also looking to get Kai Havertz on the board. So that is the latest news regarding Ben Chillwell. Left back is in the main area where Man United have got to strengthen up, but it would be beneficial if we could recommend one in. I think Luke Shaw's very, very good for us. My only element of concern about Luke Shaw is that he's very injury prone. Obviously, Luke Shaw is out with an ankle injury at the moment. And obviously, Brandon Williams has had a very, very good season. He's been given his chances, but Brandon Williams is still inexperienced at the moment. So, there you go. Now, let me just delve into the news on Jadon Sancho. So, do you think Manchester United are going to sign Jadon Sancho in this summer transfer window? It's a huge debate because there's some Manchester United fans that think, we will sign him, and there's some Manchester United fans that don't think we're going to sign him in this summer transfer window. Now, obviously, we had until the 10th of August to sign Sancho because that was Borussia Dortmund's deadline. Obviously, we failed to get him on the deadline and that, because don't forget, Sancho went to Switzerland, didn't he, for Borussia Dortmund's pre-season. Obviously, Dortmund recently beat Altach by 6-0, and I think Sancho played around 45 minutes of that game. Sancho's also come out and said that he's happy to remain at Borussia Dortmund, and he said he's happy to help young players develop at Borussia Dortmund and that. But yeah, I'm not going to fully disregard Sancho coming to Manchester United because he's still a possibility chance that we could get him on the board. Obviously, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director Michael Zorg, he came out recently and said that Sancho will stay at Dortmund. and the decision is final, and he's very convinced that he won't come to Man United in this summer transfer window. He also revealed that Dortmund secretly extended his contract until 2023. So, yeah. But you had Borussia Dortmund's CEO the other week, denying that Manchester United were in advanced talks to sign the player. Now, the other week, it was looking very, very imminent that Sancho was going to be coming to Manchester United, because you had Fabrizio Romano, who's a very reliable Italian journalist. He came out and said that, negotiations between Manchester United and Borussia Dortmund were at an advanced stage. And he also said that Sancho agreed personal terms with Man United, and he said he was set to sign a 5-year contract with the football club worth around £250,000 a week. We all expected Sancho to be officially a Manchester United player last Friday, but obviously it didn't happen. But Sancho is our number one priority target, and he has been our number one priority target for a while. We first expressed our interest in the player in 2017, so we have been in for Sancho for the last 3 years or so. But I said, didn't I, throughout the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. Because Borussia Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. Obviously, we've already said several times we're not willing to smash our transfer record for the player. I think Dortmund have been looking for around £90 million up front. I think it mentioned that we've set our limit. We're only willing to pay around £60 or £70 million up front for Sancho. But I still want us to sign him, because I've given you the main explanations why I want him at the football club, because he's got a very, very good friendship with Rashford. He's predominantly a right winger. Man United want a right winger. And Sancho's a player that can create chances. His runs on and off the ball are very, very good. And he's still very, very young. He is only the age of 20, so he has got a lot of development in him. I think if Sancho did come to the Premier League, he would exceed expectations, wouldn't he? Sancho has enjoyed 3 good years with Borussia Dortmund, let's be honest. Obviously, Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They only paid £8 million for him from Man City back in 2017. But analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. Obviously, Sancho did enjoy a few years with Manchester City, like I've said before, but the main explanation why he left City is because he did not get assured any first-team opportunities, and before he was at City, he was at Watford, and he was at Watford for several years. But even Ed Woodward has come out and said that he expects this Jadon Sancho transfer saga to go on for the entirety of this summer transfer window. But Borussia Dortmund did say not too long ago that they did come to accept the fact that Sancho does want to leave. So obviously, they have been in the transfer market looking for replacements for him. Obviously, they've been looking at Rashika from Werder Bremen. They've looked at Memphis Depay from Lyon recently. They looked at Jonathan Eacock from Lille. But Dortmund, I'm actually very, very convinced that, they can get more money for Sancho if he was to leave next summer instead of this summer and that. But there you go. But, we've been looking at quite a few alternatives to Sancho. We've been looking at a hell of a lot of alternatives. Obviously, we've been looking at Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. We've inquired about getting him on loan. We've also looked at Rabbi Matondo from Schalke. We've looked at Douglas Costa from Juventus. We've also looked at Anselme Fati Vieira from Barcelona. He won't be a cheaper solution now, because he's going to cost us around £150 million, because that's his release clause with Barcelona. When Anselme Fati Vieira does turn 18, his release clause more than doubles, I think. We looked at Thiago Almeida as well. We looked at Ferran Torres at one point. We've looked at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. I think we recently looked at Federico Chiesa from Fiorentina. We've looked at Vinicius Jr. So we have looked at so many alternatives, but I will make the admission, these cheaper solutions than Sancho. We've already made a promise to Sancho that we are willing to make him our next number 7 if he comes. obviously number 7 is now vacant at Manchester United, and like I've said before, we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. But like I said, if we was to meet Dortmund's valuation, then Sancho would be our most expensive signing and the most expensive British player in history. But we're the only club that are in for him now anyway, because Chelsea are no longer in for him, Liverpool are no longer in for him. But yeah. So that is the latest news on him. Now let's delve into some news on Chris Smalling. Now, reportedly, Ed Woodward has revealed Chris Smalling's asking price, and we have said we want around £20 million for Smalling if we are to let him go on a permanent transfer. Now, obviously, the clubs that are interested in Smalling is Inter Milan. He did say from the Italian press recently that Inter Milan wanted to get Chris Smalling. Obviously, Roma still want to get him, but reportedly Roma are only willing to pay like up to £15 million for the player. Chris Smalling was out on loan with Roma last summer. Roma did pay around £2.7 million to get him on loan, and I thought he did very, very well on his loan spell with Roma. I'm actually no surprised that Roma failed to extend his loan. But Solskjaer did recently speak about Smalling, and he said he was in regular contact with him when he was on his loan spell with Roma, and Solskjaer insisted that Smalling does have a future at Manchester United. At the end of the day, Smalling's been a long-serving player with the club. He's enjoyed a good 9 or 10 years with Man United. He has been at the football club since the Alex Ferguson era as Smalling. Obviously, he's won trophies at the club. And we did get him from Fulham back in 2010. I think Smalling has got a contract with us, is it, until 2022? But some Man United fans will say we do actually need to get rid of him. So that is the breaking news on him. Paul Pogba, I've got to say his relationship has changed with Manchester United. And I think his relationship has changed with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously, at one point he said that Paul Pogba's relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was deteriorating in that. But Paul Pogba is set to sign a new contract at Manchester United. I think he'll probably sign a 3, a 4 or a 5-year deal to end the uncertainty over his future. Now, I think contract talks are expected to happen after our Europa League campaign. Obviously, as it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. He did say a few weeks before the season finished that Paul Pogba was close to signing a 5-year deal with Man United. Obviously, Fabrizio Romano did say that Paul Pogba's happy at Manchester United and he wants to stay at the club. And he did say that Man United will enter negotiations with his agent Mini Raiola over getting him a new contract at the football club. And Solskjaer said that Pogba will stay now and, he will sign a new contract and that. Like I've said, for the vast majority of the Premier League season, didn't really have a perception on him because don't forget he was out with that ankle injury was Pogba. But Pogba has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. I think recently Paul Pogba celebrated his 4-year anniversary at the football club. So far, Paul Pogba's won 2 trophies at Man United, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. And as it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him. But this time last year, Paul Pogba came out and said that he wanted to leave Manchester United, publicly admitted that he wanted to leave, and he said, he was seeking for a new challenge. And, don't forget last year, Pogba was relentlessly linked to a move to Real Madrid. There was also a lot of narratives about him going back to Juventus because Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus. And likes of PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have also been in for Paul Pogba before. And like I said, we was very, very critical of Pogba's agent Mini Raiola at the turn of the year. We, reflect on the comments he said because Mini Raiola publicly come out and criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United and that. So that is the news on him. But he actually did say yesterday Tuesday, Paul Pogba said, there was supposed to be a big announcement made on Wednesday, which was yesterday. Put obviously this tweet on social media. It turned out it was something to do with a Call of Duty game. I think that was actually the announcement. Like I am really looking forward, by the way, to our game against Seville on Sunday in the Europa League semi-final. Like I've said to you, I think it is going to be a big test for Manchester United, that game. Obviously, it is our second European semi-final since Alex Ferguson's retirement, and it is our third semi-final this season because obviously, we already progressed to the FA Cup semi-final and we progressed to the EFL Cup semi-final. But Solskjaer has come out and said recently that 3 semi-finals are not good enough for Manchester United, and Solskjaer has revealed his plans to ensure that we do get to the Europa League final, and he said our players need to use hurt from our 2 semi-final defeats. But this will be a test, like I mentioned, and Solskjaer won't take any risks in this game against Sevilla on Sunday. I think definitely he's going to go with his strongest 11. Probably will make 1 or 2 changes from the win against Copenhagen recently. But in the game against Copenhagen recently, Solskjaer, went with a pretty strong lineup, didn't he? But we are the favourites to win the Europa League. But I've given you the main explanations why I want Manchester United to win the Europa League, because obviously if we win it, it'll put more confidence into the team, and it'll obviously give us something to build on, to then go and challenge for the big trophies in that. Plus, if we win it, it will be our first trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Plus, if we win it, it'll end our trophy drought because we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. Plus, if we win it, it will be our 4th trophy overall since Alex Ferguson's retirement, and it will be the second time we would have won the Europa League, because we did win the Europa League back in 2017 under the Jose Mourinho era. But Sevilla will be tough. It really will. Sevilla recently beat Wolves in the quarterfinals by 1-0. The last time we played Sevilla was back in the Champions League last 16 in 2018. We did lose by 2-1. Wissam Ben Yedder scored twice in that game, and I think Lukaku had got our goal. I think in the first leg it was 0-0 at Sevilla's ground. But Solskjaer did say, winning the Europa League as Manchester United manager would be one of the greatest achievements. So it would actually surpass 1999. But yeah, I think so far this season, Solskjaer has exceeded expectations, and obviously, you wouldn't have thought he'd have exceeded expectations of how poor we was earlier on in the season, because earlier on in the season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. At that point, Solskjaer was close to getting sacked as Manchester United manager in that, and there was talks of Mauricio Pochettino coming in, and there was also talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming into the football club. Talks of Massimiliano Allegri coming into the football club and that. But, I'll give you the main explanations why I didn't get sacked as Manchester United manager. But I think we've had a good season. Obviously, we got qualification for the Champions League. And I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League was, for our players, attracting players, and for the financial structure. Obviously, we finished 3rd as well. I think, that was also a fantastic achievement. We... like I said, we progressed to 3 semi-finals and that. But like I said, the big test for Solskjaer will be next season, because next season, obviously, he's going to have bigger expectations to exceed. And next season will be Solskjaer's 2nd full season at the football club. And obviously, Solskjaer's got big decisions to make in this summer transfer window, hasn't he? Of obviously what players he's going to recommend in. Solskjaer's obviously outlined his transfer plans. He has instructed our board to go and get his preferred targets, and Solskjaer said he wants to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window. Solskjaer did say at the start of his managerial tenure he wants to make around 9 signings. He agreed this with Mike Phelan, and so far Solskjaer's made 4 permanent signings at the football club and spent just over £200 million. And Solskjaer's obviously identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. I think our transfer budget's been revealed. We have got around £140 million to spend, so that should actually get us a couple of signings. But earlier on in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career, he had worked out his transfer strategy. He wants to recruit young British talents to Manchester United. Like he has already done. But there is so many players on our agenda. Like I said, Solskjaer has got contract decisions to make. We have extended a lot of players' contracts since he came in, but we've still got quite a lot of players' contracts that are due to expire next year. Like I said, I've got a good idea, of what players we are planning to get rid of in this summer transfer window. I think we're looking to get rid of Lingard. I give you the news regarding Lingard earlier on. It said that Solskjaer wants Lingard to stay at the club because obviously Lingard's been part of the club for several years. And Solskjaer is an admirer of him because Solskjaer coached Jesse Lingard as a youth player. So Solskjaer watched him grow and develop. But obviously, I think he'll leave Man United. We may have to sell him. Obviously, Lingard's got a contract with us till 2021, and but there is an option of a further year. We sell Lingard in this summer transfer window. I think we'd get over £20 million for him, or maybe we'd get minimum £20 million. I think clubs that are in for Lingard is Borussia Mönchengladbach, Roma, and Newcastle. I think Lingard is on around 100 grand a week at Man United. Don't forget he scored in the game against Lask and Newcastle. Leicester, sorry. And when he did score against Leicester on the final day of the Premier League season, that was his first goal for Man United since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first game in charge. He did obviously score in our finals as well. I think Lingard's won the FA Cup, the Europa League, and FA Cup, the Europa League, and the League Cup with Man United. And so I can see selling him in this summer transfer window. Pereira, I think he's got to go because obviously Pereira doesn't get in the team enough. He's found game time difficult since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes. I think also too we've got to get rid of Rojo permanently. Has Rojo now returned to Man United? I'm not sure. I know it said recently that Rojo had a private chat with Solskjaer. And Rojo said he wanted to remain with Estudiantes. There's no point in us getting Rojo back now anyway because he obviously, he won't get in the team. We did get Rojo back in 2014 from Sporting Lisbon. We did pay around £16 million for the player. So Rojo enjoyed around 5.5, 6 years at Man United. Rojo has got a contract with us until 2021. So he's got a year or just under a year left on his contract. Diego Dalot, I also expect Manchester United to get rid of him because I don't think Diego Dalot is good enough to represent Man United. We did get Diego Dalot in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. Obviously, we paid £19 million in from Porto. And, he signed a contract with us until 2023. Only made 11 appearances in all competitions this season. I think only made one start in the Premier League. Don't forget he had back-to-back injuries earlier on in the season. But he is our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka. Juan Mata. There's a possible chance that, he could leave in this summer transfer window, but I don't think it'll happen. I think he's going to be at Man United for next season. I know Juan Mata doesn't get in the team lot now, like I've said before, but when he does make a fantastic impact. And he's done well in this Europa League campaign so far. Did well against Copenhagen when he came on, made a difference. Got both the assists in the 2-1 win against Lask in the last 16 of the second leg. So, But we have to sell players in this summer transfer window. But to be fair, Solskjaer has got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in to Manchester United. Like I said to you before, Solskjaer's got a goalkeeping decision to make. Because he did recently say that he's facing a dilemma on our three senior goalkeepers. And, he said it's going to be difficult for us to keep De Gea, Romero and Henderson all at the football club for next season. Like I've said before, Solskjaer needs to put Dean Henderson as our number one for next season. because it'll save us money. There's no point in us buying a goalkeeper, and we can put Henderson as number one. And plus, Dean Henderson has now got that experience behind him. He's highly experienced because he's endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United, and that as Dean Henderson. And Solskjaer did recently say that Henderson is not yet ready to become Man United's number one, but he said he expects Dean Henderson to be England's number one and Man United's number one goalkeeper in the future. Don't forget, we recently offered Dean Henderson a new deal, according to reports, worth around £60,000 a week. Dean Henderson alone stay at Man United if he is assured to be our number one for next season. David De Gea, some Man United fans have said we should sell him in this summer transfer window, but I don't think we will. But I just don't think, we can keep him as number one for next season, because he's been a liability in the last couple of years or so. Check that a second. He's been a liability, in the last couple of years or so, and that. I think I've lost some. In a minute, but yeah. But I want Manchester United, to challenge for the Premier League title next season. I want us to be up there competing with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. Like I've said, we have not won the Premier League since 2013. The last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season, so we haven't won it for 7 years. Obviously, we are the most successful team in Premier League history, because obviously, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier League titles and all of that. So we are the most successful team in Premier League history, definitely. I don't know if Solskjaer is the foreseeable future for Man United. Obviously, time will tell. Like I said, next season, will tell, won't it? But like I said to you, Solskjaer does deserve at least another season at the club, because he's exceeded expectations. But even if he hadn't exceeded expectations, I'll still give him another season, because it is a transition period, and it has been a transition period for a while. But I have seen, improvements since Solskjaer came in. I've seen a lot of improvements at Man United. So our recruitment's really, really improved since he came in. Solskjaer's more or less given everybody their chances to express themselves, because Solskjaer did say when he got appointed in, everybody would get their chances to express themselves, including the young players. And I think throughout the course of this season, Solskjaer's promoted the youth well. I think Solskjaer's approach to the big games have also been very, very good. So these are the improvements I have seen. Don't get me wrong, there's still improvements needed at Manchester United. I've also got to say as well, I think there's players that have really, really improved under Solskjaer, especially the top players. Martial improved, Rashford improved. Rashford, don't forget, though, was out with a back injury early on in the season. Pogba has done well under Solskjaer. Did well towards the end of the Premier League season, didn't he? Luke Shaw's really, really improved under him. Fred's improved under him. I think the signings he's brought in so far have done very, very well. So, yeah. So definitely players have improved under him and that. But I think the things that I've got to improve, Solskjaer does need to improve his decision making. Obviously, there's some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, but there's some games where he's being very tactically naive. I think in games we need to keep the ball better. We need to be slightly more clinical in front of goal. I think our football needs to look a bit more expansive in that. So these still definitely improvements needed at Manchester United. But Solskjaer's been at the club quite a while now. He's been at the football club over a year and a half. But it is a long rebuilding process. But like I said, I'm just glad Solskjaer's proved his critics wrong, because earlier on in the season I was very, very critical of him, and so too were a lot of Manchester United fans. There's a lot of Man United fans that are starting to believe now that he is the right manager for Man United. Obviously, there's been problems at the football club for several years. Obviously, with the club's ownership, the Glazers, there's been problems with Ed Woodward. There's been obviously a lot of problems with the club's board. There's been a lot of cultural problems for several years as well. And obviously in the last 7 years we've had different managers with different philosophies. We spent nearly £1 billion on, the players that we've brought in, including what we spent under Solskjaer. We've brought a good 30 odd players in since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. And I hope Solskjaer can be the next Ferguson, but I just think it's going to be hard for someone to replicate Ferguson's legacy at the club. And I think it's going to be hard for someone, you know, to last as long as Alex Ferguson did. But the good news is regarding Solskjaer now, you know, he has got that he's got that managerial experience behind him, because, you know, Man United is the third club in his managerial career. Obviously, you know, before he managed us, he was at Malden. Before then, he was at Cardiff. Don't forget he managed Man United reserve team when he was younger for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team at this day and age grow and develop, did Solskjaer. But, you know, since January we've seen an upturn in form, haven't we? Also got to mention as well our fitness levels have been better. But we are unbeaten in our last 14 league games. The only injuries we've now got is Jones, Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw, and they're expected back back for the new season. So yeah, obviously on my recent videos I've kept you up to date of what's been going on with Jack Grealish. I give you the news on Grealish yesterday. He's set to hold negotiations with Christian Purslow, who is the Villa chief executive, regarding his future when he returns from holiday. We're still looking to get Grealish, but Villa do want £80 million. Donny van der Beek, you know, he's now our priority reportedly over Jack Grealish. I give you the news on Kalidou Koulibaly yesterday and that. But, you know, we have got to make signings definitely in this summer transfer window. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.